Last time on Longbrow Gaming.
You can probably tell I'm all Skyrim'd out, so my next video is actually not going to be about Skyrim. I've been actually wanting to make this next video for a while now, so I hope you check it out too. Is this thing on? Is this thing on? Oh, okay. You really think my next video wasn't going to be another Skyrim ranking? After I've been making you wait this long for this one, it's here, baby. Houses ranked. Howdy. And yes, I may have just done a 3-hour-long video literally ranking every book in Skyrim, but my work is never finished and I cannot rest. At least not until I finally do this ranking. I've been teasing for basically forever now that I'm going to be ranking the houses in Skyrim, so here we go, baby. We're finally here. Skyrim houses ranked worst to best. But as always, get out those pens and papers because we got some notes before we hop on into it. First off, I'm only including player houses, meaning no houses gained from marriage or faction rooms, just the ones you get from the sweat of your brow. Second, the criteria for the ranking. These are mainly based on the aesthetic and the additions you get with the house. By aesthetic, I mean the look, the feel of both the inside and the outside of the house. You know what I mean. Can you cozy up next to the fire and shut your brain off like I do every time I finish a ranking video? And by additions, I mean, does it have an alchemy table or kitchen or a sick greenhouse? All that fun, useful stuff. So yeah, that's how we are rolling with these placements. Third, all the houses are really good. Just saying. The ones I say are, quote, the worst ones, doesn't mean it's bad. All of these are actually really good. But hey, my job is to rank them from worst to best, so rank them I shall. Fourth, I am not including the Creation Club houses in this video, as I am planning special content specifically for Creation Club stuff. And lastly, these are my opinion. If you for some reason think my worst house is your favorite house, then please step back, take a breath, it's okay. Your opinion is just as valid as mine. It's a decade-old game, and I'm a stupid voice coming through your electronic device, talking about said decade-old game. We will survive this. Now finally, let's go. Honeyside. Now I know that a lot of you are already hovering over that red X because Bree's home isn't the last, but I have reasons for that. First, let's lay out the benefits that come with Honeyside, because as I mentioned, all of the houses are good. This one has an enchanting and an alchemy table, cooking supplies, and a mannequin, which is actually great. That's the standard deal with the houses. I adore the fact that this house has a door leading straight to Skyrim as well as Riften. You get 2 doors with this one, so you can be robbed from both ends. And you even get a cool patio leading to a small dock, as if Riften didn't smell enough like fish. I also kind of like the simple layout. Going from the kitchen straight to your room, it's a really neat how that's laid out like that. And it's also kind of cool that you get a cellar that basically acts as another story of your house of sorts. But now the downsides. First off, I have never been a fan of the exterior design of this house. It's too desaturated and just depressing looking, just like Riften. Yeah, Riften is probably the best quest hub in the game, but I wouldn't want to live here. Guarded fortress, city of solitude. Friendly open Whiterun. Murderous den of thieves and fish. And in order to get a children's room, you need to replace your enchanting lab, which sucks, and sadly this house isn't alone in that. And this room, if you want to call it that. This place is also crazy cramped, but that's a pretty freaking common thing in this game, as you'll see, and the kids will look like they're in prison. So yeah, sorry Honeyside fans. There is another house in the game that goes for this exact same cabin aesthetic, but it handles it much better. Again, this is still good. Bree's home. Now some of you may be surprised with the placement of Bree's home, that being not the worst, but let me lay out my reasoning. Look at it. Does that not feel like a cozy little cottage? I love the aesthetic so much for this house. A small, quaint house that just oozes comfort. Don't you just want to cuddle up in this disease-ridden bed? I also really like that the area is split from sleeping quarters upstairs to the kitchen and living room downstairs. And I can never get over how much I love the campfire in the middle. The lighting is just absolutely perfect in this house for me. Is it practical? No. Will the house forever smell like smoke and fire? Yes. But it looks cool. Again, I know I'm probably alone in this thinking, but I do enjoy Bree's home more than the one behind it. But other than that, sadly, there is the least amount of additions in the entire game right here. Only an alchemy table and cooking supplies. And if you want a kid's room, you have to replace that alchemy table. So you get nothing other than cooking supplies. I'm really stupid for putting this above Honeyside, ain't I? If you disagree, I understand, but Bree's home nostalgia gang rise up. Severin Manor. This house has the privilege of being the only house in the game that is in Solstheim, so I love that part of it, and it sure as heck looks like something out of Morrowind. The exterior makes me a little bit frightened to enter it, because bugs are the creatures from the underworld that seek world domination, but at the end of the day it has a great design. You walk in straight to a living quarters that leads downstairs where it looks like a torture chamber. So the aesthetic is freaking crazy unique for a player house, with all these circular rooms that look crazy distinct since as well as in Morrowind, and the additions are definitely nothing to sneeze at either. You get smelting, a workbench, grindstones, tanning racks, alchemy lab, enchanting table, cooking pots, mannequins, longbrow. Are you a buffoon for putting this so low? Well, this house has a few stupid issues, the main one being that children cannot move here, and only DLC spouses can move in. No other spouses from the base game, which defeats the purpose of role-playing as a homeowner. This house came so close to being so much higher, but if it just has these really stupid issues it has, so I could not put it any higher because of these dumb issues. Lavendril Hall. As much as it hurts my soul to put a dwarven thing not in first place, this sadly goes here. But that's not saying it's bad, it's still freaking great. First, the upsides. It's dwarven. Next. That's a joke, laugh, but time for additions. This house has an alchemy lab and an enchanting table, but say bye-bye to that alchemy table if you want snot-nosed paychecks to live with you. But you also get cooking supplies and a mannequin, and we cannot, and I mean we cannot overlook this aesthetic.
Girl, yes. Dwarves, baby, dwarves.
Then there's this room. But other than that mole on an otherwise perfect supermodel, I love the walk-up and the amazing firelit dwarven machinery. A lot of open space, and that's just great. But now for the downsides. One being that choice I said earlier about the alchemy room or the children's room, but the worst part of this entire house by far is the exterior. This is the entire exterior.
A door.
And stairs. Yeah, it's neat, I guess, because it's built into a mountain, like anything good dwarven would be, but I mean, like, at the end of the day, it's just a door. It makes me so sad. It would be so much better if it just had a house. Proudspire Manor. Do you want your kids to be bullied by all the plebeian children who live in ordinary lives? Then this is the house for you. Yes, Proudspire Manor is the definition of high class. Let's get on to the additions already. You get cooking supplies and an alchemy table, as well as an enchanting table, and a mannequin, and a dungeon to throw the kids in when they mouth off. It's great. I love the overall aesthetic. How it really feels like the most expensive house in the game, with incredible lighting. And look at this kids room. That's just crazy good, and you don't have to forego another addition for it. And this place here, just so cozy, man. But now, sadly, time to get to the little downsides I have. Sadly, I have never been a fan of the exterior. It's just so bland. It looks way too much like the surrounding buildings, and I'm not a fan of the dark, desaturated colors either. I also don't really like how crazy cramped it is inside, which sucks. But look where this is on the list. It's obviously amazing, but I still gotta list all the things that I see as downsides just to let you guys know. Hirim. This house takes the cake for having my favorite exterior in the entire game. Just be sure that the town folks don't charge straight into your house to kill the obvious vampires living within. You get a gated entrance and way more open space in the Proudspire Manor. It's crazy cool looking to me. And the interior is just continues with all that greatness. Wait a second. Let me, wait, what? Open space? My feet can hit the floor without stepping on a bucket or a child? So yeah, this is that crazy good aesthetic that Honeyside was trying to do with the cabin feeling, but this is way better obviously. Kids' room is a little sad, but look at this kitchen.
That armory. Oh, my sweet armor mannequins. In this room.
Yeah, look at that. Okay. Time for the additions. You get the biggest armory in the entire game, an alchemy table and an enchanting table, and also cooking supplies. And again, you don't need to yeet your kids out the window for any of it. They all have their own space. Downside is mainly just this. Now, the best houses in the game are gonna have to be bunched together to some extent. These are obviously the Hearthfire houses. If you're Patrick Star and you live under a rock, 25, then you may not know that these last three houses are identical, because they aren't houses at all at the start. You buy a plot of land and you turn it into a house by using these crafting stations. You need supplies and such to make it, which is crazy fun on its own. It's like one of my favorite things to do with a new character is building my house. And you get to customize these to a degree that the others can't even come close to. You basically get to choose 3 separate expansions to your house, so you can mold it to your playstyle you're going around with that specific character. And these additions, baby, oh my gosh, these include Alchemy Lab, enchanting table, cooking supplies, a library, a greenhouse, an armory, storage, trophy room, an aquarium that you can only get with these houses, and an entire blacksmithing room, plus other additions I'll get into in a second. The design is incredible with tons of open space and a massive patio and plenty of beds. The kids' room is massive, and overall there is no doubt that these are the best in the entire game. But now it's time to split them up. The only differences between these 3 Hearthfire houses is the location and a unique addition to each. Time to rank these. Lakeview Manor. Out of all the houses, this is probably the best exterior. I'm a sucker for a forest house, and this is excellent for that. You get an amazing, well, lake view, but you also get a view this. That can be good for the kids. But sadly, the only addition it gives you is a beehive, which you can also get with your greenhouse. So it is the only addition out of the 3 that can be made obsolete. Winstead Manor. This one has my least favorite exterior, but the best new addition. I do not like the swamp look, sadly. It's just a little too sad looking for my tastes. And this house here, if you played the game, you know what this house is. I don't like it being so close to my house. But you get a freaking fish hatchery. That is incredible and crazy convenient. I love that addition so much. I would definitely choose this one for an Argonian character though. And the winner, by pure virtue of being good at both an addition and an aesthetic, is Lavendril Hall. It has a grain mill, so you can get flour for cooking. That is useful that it is essentially in a snowy mountain plain. Not as beautiful as Lakeview, and the addition is not as good as Winstead, but it evens out by being good at both. So yeah, Lavendril Hall, you win. Congrats. But Creation Club has tons of stuff that kind of blow you out of the water, but again, that's for another time. And that's the ranking. Now it's time to delay the next ranking until the heat death of the universe, or when I get around to it. Whichever one comes first. But yeah, check out my books ranking if you haven't seen it yet. It's 3-hour long ranking and I put a lot of work into it. Sorry for the wait on this one. I appreciate you all. Anyways, thanks guys. See ya.